Welcome to the Pottsboro Lake House Casita. So come on inside and I'm going to show you around. When you walk in the front doors of this casita, you can understand why we lovingly dubbed it the Casita. When our clients came to us and said they wanted us to help them build this from the ground up, we got super excited and we started with creating a persona for the casita. So we had finished the main house and we kind of created the idea that the main house was this mature, cool, older sister, and that the casita, which is not even half the size, was this spunky, sometimes gets in trouble, fun little sister. So we're using a lot of the same colors that we used at the main house, but we're using them in different ways. We're in a little bit more bold ways, a little more whimsical ways in here. And so we were able to pop color in places that we don't normally pop color. So let me walk you around some of my favorite parts of the living and dining room area. Immediately when you walk in, you almost literally walk into this sofa, and it might be a little weird, but you walk in and you kind of want to pet the sofa, which to be honest is really what we wanted to happen. You just want to plop right down. We put this incredibly insane crushed blue velvet sofa. Not a lot of people allow us to put a crushed blue velvet sofa in the living room, so we were pretty stoked when they said yes to this. So it really immediately sets the tone for this fun design that we did throughout the house. Moving on the opposite wall, we wanted to bring a little bit of that blue to this wall, so we did a grasscloth wallpaper. And I know you'll see on front of it this massive TV. I am probably the only designer who will say this, but when a client comes to me and says like, which this one always does, Brett, what's the biggest TV you can get me? I don't get all upset about it, because ultimately this is the client's home, and if they want a freaking big TV in their space, I'm gonna give them a freaking big TV and tell them the biggest one that they can have. And to me, it's that makes them happy, so it makes me happy. But behind it, we're still gonna make it look really pretty, so we put the wallpaper. Then you get to see this massive kind of resin cast teak, incredibly cool architectural console. And again, it's really interesting to the eye because it's white. It doesn't really kind of make the space feel smaller. It actually makes it feel bigger. We selected every piece really intentionally. Because it's a small space, there's not a lot of furniture in it. So every piece, we wanted it to have some kind of either cool color or really cool movement. We have these kind of double kidney coffee tables right here that you can kind of push around to best suit however many people are in here. And then we have this chair that I super love. We call it the spider chair. You can just kind of kick back, you can say crisscross applesauce, you can read your book, and it's a really great lounging space back here in this corner. One of my favorite parts in this room is actually the rug. So the rug anchors this space. We kind of put all the colors in this rug, little pink, little blue, greens, light blues, grays, everything in this rug, and it really defines the area in this space. And space was the biggest challenge in this casita. With this living room, we wanted to make sure that we had defined areas even though it's small. So we selected a dining table that was a little bit more narrow, this really beautiful black dining table with detailed brass rivets. We butted it up against this sofa so that we have the dining kitchenette area and we have the living area, but it doesn't seem to really impede each other. People can sit here. When it's pulled out, there's still room for people to walk behind. As far as the kitchenette goes, we wanted it to be really fun. We didn't really need a lot of storage. So we really just needed it to function for someone to come in, maybe pop in a little microwave meal, pour themselves a margarita, and that's about it. And so for the base, we did a really fun blue paint color, Sherwin-Williams Langwood blue, because I know you're gonna ask. And then on top, we put an awesome quartz counter. And then we did this really fun scalloped crackle backsplash, brought it all the way up, of course, because as you know, that helps create just visual space and helps it make you feel much taller. And then we just put this really fun floating shelf to just display some of those little bitty things that we select in here. We don't have a lot of plates and dishes, but just enough to give a little bit of depth and interest. Okay, so the first stop in this hallway is the Casita's primary suite. We have this king-size wicker bed that just sets the stage for this being a really fun, kind of spa-like environment is what we wanted to create in here. We did all the walls in Sherwin-Williams. I think it's Sherwin-Williams eucalyptus. Don't quote me on it, we'll double check for you. And then for the rug, we actually threw down a shag rug. I've never put a shag rug, but it just felt right in this room, and I love it in here. So we did a white shag rug on the floor, just making you wanna kick your shoes off and enjoy this space. These pillows have this bold black and white design on them. We did 2 big old guys, and that's about it. You know me, you know I don't love lots and lots of throw pillows. This is all we needed, and it really kind of gave the design statement that we were going for in this room. And then on the window wall, because it's facing out to the main house, we wanted to make sure to give floor to ceiling drapes. In this room, we did drapes that didn't have a really bold pattern. We put those on the bed. We wanted it to be really nuanced pattern so that every time you kind of come in here, you notice a little different detail about the space. And so on this one, it's just this really kind of cream and ivory pattern that gives it enough visual interest, but not overwhelmingly so. The Casita has 2 bedrooms, so it has the primary bedroom with the built-in bath, and then it has a second one, so follow me and I'll show you my favorite parts in this room. This one is actually a little bit bigger than the primary suite, but it's wider, and so we wanted to give a really fun headboard when you walk in that gives you that immediate visual spot that showcases really the length of this room. This room, we kept it light and bright. We did white on the walls, Sherwin-Williams, pure white. And then we actually did the trim and the ceiling in a different color. We did that, and I believe it is Sherwin-Williams, probably light French gray, because that's one of my favorite gray colors. I'll double check for you, but we did it on all of the trim. We also did it on the ceiling. Again, just one of those details that you may not notice the first time you come in, you may not even notice the second time, but eventually you will notice, and it makes the room interesting every time. At the end of the bed, we put these 3 kind of teal, kind of green, leather woven ottomans. You can put your suitcase on them, throw your swimsuits on them, but just somewhere that you can land all of your stuff, and also gives just a little bit of depth to this room. We anchored the space with this really light Persian reproduction rug. Again, didn't really put tons of color because we just wanted it in those end ottomans. And then we also brought a little bit of geometric detail with these pillows that are really, really cool. I've never used these pillows before. I'm doing that crushed velvet on each one of these. And this is a king size bed. These pillows are 26 by 26, so they just fill the bed really nice. Vacation homes, you want to make sure that all of the bedding is really inviting, and when you walk in, you kind of just want to throw your stuff down and get in bed. Last room in the house is up these stairs, and it is the party room. So follow me and I'll show you upstairs. Okay, the party room. So what do you do in here? The answer is everything, anything. This room is the biggest area in the whole house, and we just wanted it to be super fun. So the middle of the room, we threw kind of the biggest sofa that I could find. It's kind of like, is it a bed? Is it a sofa? Is it a chaise? It's kind of all the things, right? You walk in and it's big enough for a party to happen, big enough to have movie nights. And then, of course, as you can tell in the rest of the house, we had to have the biggest TV in the party room. And then behind it, we threw up this wallpaper. Is it zebra? Is it wood? I don't really know, but I really liked it, so I picked it, and I love it on this wall. And it's such a statement. When you walk around the corner, you're not really expecting this super bold wallpaper. And so vacation homes, I love them because not only the client, but really people coming in and their expectations, like you can take really big design risks in vacation homes. So you can kind of do those bold patterns, do those crazy colors that you wouldn't necessarily do, or you don't have the guts to do in your main home. So we kind of did all of that here in the Casita. We did this swivel orange chair, just somewhere where, honestly, again, you can be sipping a cocktail, drinking a beer, kind of doing anything, watching TV. On the outside is a big party deck, and so this is kind of the anyone's chair. This is probably where I would be. On the floor, we did a really soft, plush rug. Not a huge one, because we wanted to make sure that people can rock around the entire room, so we didn't want corners going on, so we kept it a little bit smaller than we typically do. Of course, we had to have an arcade, because who has a party room without an arcade? So we put an arcade in here, picked kind of an old school vintage one. The client really just wanted this to be a fun room where anyone can kind of go in and out. There's a big party deck outside. People can enjoy up here without being downstairs by the pool. That's it for our Lake House Casita. Thanks for following along, and we'll see you next week.